Today on Let's Fish TV, we're around Port Aransas. We're gonna be fishing for redfish and trout. From what I've been told by a couple buddies down here, is they've both been biting pretty good. We're hitting it at a good time of year in November. You know, everybody's in the deer stand, but we're out here on the water. I'm gonna tell you guys, there's nothing better than being out here and nobody else around. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Let's Fish TV. I'm your host, Andrew Upshaw. Today, we're at Port Aransas, Texas. We're gonna be targeting redfish and trout. And from what I'm told by all the locals is the fishing is fantastic this fall. I cannot wait to get out there and showcase just how good the fishing is right now. We'll also have this week's fishing report from your local region from our insider reporter. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this Mamba 24VX launched, get everything set up. We'll toss it back to the studio for your weekend planner.
Hey there, the Salooner tables are indicating fair game fish activity on both days this weekend. Peak morning hours begin around 7:19 Saturday, 8:15 on Sunday. Evening activity will begin around 7:44 Saturday and 8:40 Sunday night. Depending on your area, the sun will rise around 7:03 and set at 5:26. Expect the moon this weekend to be at 20% visibility. Stay with us, we've got fishing reports from across the area on the way, plus I'll return with Tawakoni Guide Service Guide Michael Littlejohn on this week's Ask the Pro feature.
All right guys, today on Let's Fish TV, we're gonna be heading out in the bay. We're gonna be fishing for redfish and trout. The weather is perfect, you know, light wind, sunny skies, maybe a few storms in the afternoon, but I got a good feeling we're having a lot of fun today. We're gonna be catching a lot of really nice fish. From what I'm told by all the local guides is the fishing is on fire right now. I cannot wait to bring you today's episode, but I'm gonna get out there and see if we can go catch some fish. Oh yeah, there we go. Redfish on, guys. Not a big one, but the right kind. Let's get them power poles dropped real quick. I just saw 3 or 4 others right here. Just a little rat red here. There we go. I mean, look at it, man. Dude, these dang redfish fight so hard. You know, today we're here around Port Aransas and we're fishing for these fish right here, redfish. Now this is what I would consider a rat red, not a big one, but I'm getting to fish the way I like to fish, and that's throwing that little gold spoon, that little Johnson spoon. Like I said, not a big one at all, but man, they're fun to catch. You know, today we're here at Port Aransas. You know, Port Aransas is one of those places that I've always loved to come to. And, you know, it's a special place for me. My college fishing partner is actually from Rockport, which is just down the bay from Port Aransas, and I spent a lot of time here as a child. And this is just a fun place to fish. You know, every time I come in this area, Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Rockport, it's always a new adventure, but I can always do what I like to do, and that's reel a spoon around, reel a Strike King swim bait around, and catch a lot of redfish and a lot of really nice redfish. The fishing's just gonna keep getting better all day long, so make sure y'all stay tuned, and we'll see if we can catch us another one.
Hey, even with the lake down more than 5 feet like it is, Lake Tenkiller is still one of the most beautiful bodies of water here in the state of Oklahoma, and is an excellent bass fishery, and especially this time of year. Leon Adams and I made a trip there, and we had good success catching smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass, and we did it exactly the way that Mike Taylor has been telling us and we've been sharing with you over the past couple of months. Stand-up jig head rigged with a Yum Dinger. Best color for us was green pumpkin. Best type of cover was fishing the windy points, and especially the points that had pea gravel to baseball-sized rock, and areas where you could keep your boat in about 6 foot of water, make a long cast to hit the shoreline, because those fish were roaming in those 2 to 6 foot depths of water along those type of structures. They were really active. They were feisty, they were strong, and they were pulling hard. Caught a good number of them. Also got to see a couple of bald eagles. They're active there right now. pelicans, seagulls, lots of bird activity. Beautiful place to fish. The bass are biting, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
You know, when you're dealing with redfish, they're just so mean. I mean, I'm throwing 30-pound braid, a 25 or 20-pound leader, fluorocarbon leader, and you know, I just don't play around with them. And I learned that from one of my best friends, Ryan Watkins. I mean, he's fished for redfish forever, and you don't have to really small line them down here. Now trout can be really finicky, but not redfish. There we go. Redfish just, man, they just fight and eat and fight and eat. That's what we have now. A nice red here, a better one. There we go. Man, they just clobber that spoon. It is so awesome. But this is why you use, you know, that heavy action rod. You can, honestly, you can kind of bend on them a bit. I mean, it's like I said, this isn't a big red, but I mean, they're all fun to catch. No doubt about it. I mean, look at that, man. Oh, hooked perfectly. God, just a gorgeous fish here. You know, for tournament red fishing, it wouldn't be the perfect fish to have, but it would probably be in that 20-inch slot range. Get this fish back real quick. You know, actually, this is a 6'9" heavy action rod. This is the Andy Montgomery skipping rod by Lew's. And, you know, as a bass fisherman, bass tournament fisherman like I am, I tend to cross over my equipment quite often. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been red fishing now for the last handful of years. I haven't done it as much as some people. I'm never gonna lie and say that, but this rod by itself has become my favorite redfish rod that I've ever had. It's called a heavy action, but it has a good parabolic bend to it, so it works really well with that braid, but it's strong enough to move those really big redfish, and that's what you want. You know, you don't want, you know, can you catch redfish on a spinning rod? Absolutely. People do it up and down the coast, you know, all the time. But whenever I'm out here trying to catch one of those fish of a lifetime for me, you know, which would be a really big redfish, a bull red, I want some equipment that I can trust, that I know I can catch those fish with. And you know, 30 to 50-pound braid, I like 30 because you can cast further. And a lot of times when you're in a situation like this, you're dealing with really shallow water and you have to be able to make really long casts. And we're gonna talk a little bit more here in just a little while about the importance of being quiet and how to be even quieter in your boat to help you catch more fish. But I've got a nice school of redfish here, and I'm gonna see if I can catch me a couple more.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lew's, feel the difference. Mamba Boats, ride with pride. Strike King, tie one on. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
There we go. That's a better trout there. There we go. That's a better trout there. Man. I mean, he is mad. That's a mad fish there. He was not happy about hitting that bait. There we go. Not a bad little fish right there. I want to show you something on these trout. It's really, really unique. Look at that big tooth right here. A lot of times they only have one really big tooth. Sometimes they'll have two, but most of the ones I've seen have one. You never want to grab a trout by its lip. I mean, that's a really bad thing to do. You always want to grab them on the side like this and be really careful with them. But that's a nice keeper trout there. But let's get this trout back real quick. Today we're down here at Port Aransas and just a fun place. And what we're doing is we're drifting across these big expansive flats. So in this particular area that we're in, you know, if you went 500 yards that way, it'd just be a solid moss bed. You wouldn't have hardly any potholes in it. And where we're fishing right now, it's like what I like to call a broken up bottom. And people are gonna ask, okay, how do you find areas like that are broken up and that have the fish in it? Well, there's two different ways that you can actually do it. The way that I do it a lot, especially in a situation like this where you're talking about a humongous area and trying to find really particular places, or a spot on the spot as we like to call it, is I get on Google Earth and I will actually scan around and I'll look for these areas that have a big section of potholes or sandy areas within the grass. And when you find those broken up areas, and that's what we like to call them as broken up areas, that's where the bigger schools of redfish are going to concentrate most of the time. Now, you'll have outliers here and there, but these big broken up areas like we have here, I mean, you can see sand forever through here. And it just gives those fish a place to swim around, ambush bait, and school bait up. And that's what we're looking for today. But I got to get back out there. I think I found a spot. Drop those power poles. We're going to see if we can catch us another one.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here, coming to you from Cajun Paradise Charters right here in Hackberry, Louisiana, with this week's Let's Fish Outdoor Report. Tell you what, we're going to start off talking about fishing. We're going to start off right here on Calcasieu Lake. Tell you what, we're in the full fall, early winter pattern right now. A couple days after these little fronts, the marshes dump, all the shrimp come into your little bays. Birds are working, lots of solid trout getting caught, 1/8 and 1/4 ounce Rockport rattlers, jig heads, down south soft plastics. Tell you what, you can catch them on live shrimp under a cork. The soft plastic bite's great. And also redfish right now. You got redfish that are sitting in the fronts of these cuts, in the mouths of these cuts after these fronts, just feeding on what's coming out. Live shrimp or even dead shrimp seem to be best there. We're in waterfowl season right here in southwest Louisiana. Lots of ducks all along the Gulf Coast. Tell you what, cast and blast can't go wrong. Come in, fish in the afternoon, go hunting in the morning, shoot you a good mess of ducks. Sportsman's paradise. For Old Cajun Phil, I'm Captain Kevin Broussard at Cajun Paradise Charters, saying happy fishing, may God bless, and let's fish. We're gonna see you next week.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Coastline Trailers, built by fishermen for fishermen.
That real it's almost like a jerkbait retrieve for bass fishing, but there's one other. Oh wow, that's a good one there. All right guys, I'm gonna show you real quick how to work your soft plastics to catch more trout the next time you're on the water. So I've got a little water trout right here. I've power poled down, I've stayed quiet, and honestly, there's a big pothole right here in front of me. And the trout are all along the grass line on the outside edge of the pothole. So what you do is you throw your soft plastic out there, and I'm throwing real lightweight, a 1/16 ounce. You can go as heavy as an 1/8, but I really like the 1/16. I feel like it has that slower fall. It forces you to fish the bait a lot slower, and I'm just hopping it up. I'm taking my time, but I try to vary my retrieve. So I'll do one big hop, and then I'll let it drop, and then I'll do 2 quick snaps. And it's just that real it's almost like a jerkbait retrieve for bass fishing. But there's one other. Oh wow, that's a good one there. Oh my gosh, biggest one of the day. Oh, stay buttoned up, baby. Running right at us. Oh, it's a good one. That's a really good trout, guys. Oh, come here. Ooh. Heck yeah, check that trout out. I mean, he engulfed my bait. And that is what you want him to do. And the hook just fell out. And if you pay attention to these trout, guys, they run so fast to the boat, but a nice trout. And I talked about it earlier, but look at the teeth. There's 2 big teeth on the front. It almost seems like it's their personality. Each one of them has a little bit different personality, but a really nice trout. Port Aransas, guys. If you want to have a great day catching redfish, trout, and everything else in between, this is the place to come. I've had a couple on this size today, and actually a couple bigger than this today. We always talk about the ones we lost, never the ones we catch, but not a bad way to end the day. I'm gonna get this fish back real quick.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by the good folks at HB Hunting Products. Not only does the Easy Reach feeder keep you off that ladder with that bag of corn over your shoulder, but like all HB Hunting products, it's made right here in Texas and made to last a lifetime. Now this week we're going to be talking about winter fishing and Lake Fork, the crappie there. Now, keep in mind, Lake Fork has special crappie regulations. You have to keep the first 25 fish you catch regardless of their length limit. And up around the dam is the area you want to go, and there's going to be a lot of other folks there. So be nice, play friendly, everybody can all get along and catch a lot of crappie. Use your jigs and minnows and you'll have fun at Lake Fork. Now, one of my favorite winter species is the smallmouth bass, and Lake Belton is the state's premier smallmouth fishery right now. That's thanks to the management efforts of Texas Parks and Wildlife and the great work they've done over the last 10 to 15 years, bringing Belton to the top of the smallmouth fishery land in Texas. You're going to want to fish bluffs and those areas where rocks and gravel meet and shallow and deep water meet. Put rocks and gravel, shallow and deep, all together, you'll find some smallies. Use your top waters in the morning, then transition to things like your crankbaits and your chatterbaits around those areas. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Be sure and check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
There's one. Oh, that's a good one. There we go. Oh my gosh. I just feel his teeth on the line. Oh man, it's a nice trout there. Look at the size of that trout. Oh, there's one with it, just as big. Goodness gracious. This is one of those situations where you got a power pole down. Oh man, go down, go down. Oh my gosh. Man, he choked it. And the problem is I've got this 20-pound contra leader, so I don't want to be too, I'm gonna go down and grab this fish because I don't want to lose it and break my line. You know, even with big line, you take that risk. Let's see here. Come here, fish. It's a big trout. Oh man, check out that trout, guys. Holy cow. Just an awesome, awesome fish. What a way to end the day. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better trout to end the day on. Just a nice fish. You know, you talk about expectations when you come fishing. My expectation today was to come out here and catch the fire out of redfish. And in turn, I ended up catching the fire out of trout. And it's always like that. You know, if you have these preconceived notions of how you're gonna catch fish, it's almost never like that. But man, what an awesome day. And I mean, a beautiful, beautiful trout. The family's gonna be pretty mad I'm throwing this fish back. Let's get this fish back real quick. Oh man, there you go, baby. You know, one thing that we did today that I think is really important that y'all can learn from is paying attention to how these fish were set up. So this morning we went out, we caught some reds. They just weren't big ones. I had one nice one. And as the day progressed, the reds kind of, you know, clicked off. They didn't bite as good. And I told my cameraman, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to catch some trout. You know, day in and day out, the trout down in this Port Aransas area seem to bite. But you gotta really target them a little bit different. You know, taking that soft plastic jerk bait and kind of twitching it and doing exactly what I told you about earlier and how to fish it. But you gotta get a little bit deeper. You know, those redfish were situated in about 2 foot of water. These trout are about 3 to 4 feet. And you gotta find that water that is a little bit dirtier. And that's a really important aspect. You don't want that super gin clear water. Those trout are way more comfortable when you get a little bit of stain to it. It doesn't have to be super dirty, but you need that stain to the water where you just can't see every blade of grass down there. And that's what we did, is we went down these potholes, these more isolated potholes, down one giant sand bottom area, and that is where the bigger trout were set up. Now, we caught a bunch of trout up there shallow where those reds were, but they were those little 8 and 10 inch trout. And out here is where we started catching the larger than average trout. And I'm gonna tell you guys, when you hook one of those big ones, man, it's different. They run 100 miles an hour and they fight hard and they pull hard and they're screaming in every direction. Just doesn't beat it when you catch one of those nice ones. And you know, the crazy thing is, a buddy of mine that does fish down here all the time, they catch like 8 and 9 pounders in the winter time. So we're getting really close to the winter time. They catch them on corkies and soft plastic jerk baits, wade fishing, things like that. Overall, a good day. I'm gonna head back to the boat ramp, get everything set up, and I'm gonna talk to y'all a little bit about how we caught our fish today and the adjustments that we made that made it all go down. So I'm gonna get everything locked up. We'll see y'all here in just a minute.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Visit Mississippi. Wanderers welcome. Power Pole. Total boat control. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Logan would like to know, what are the pros and cons of bait cast reels versus spinning reels? For an answer, we asked Tawakoni Guide Service guide Michael Littlejohn.
By far, the spinning reel has made a big splash in the fishing world the last 3 or 4 years. You're seeing it used more and more often in the pro bass circuits, offshore world's using them more. And the reason is because they're very, very easy to use, easy to control, and anybody can pick one up and use it without the infamous backlash that the bait caster is notorious for. With that said, the bait caster still is a preference for most bass fishermen because it allows you to target a bait exactly under the dock, right next to the lily pad, wherever it is you're trying to really make it a really accurate cast. The bait caster is going to be what you're going to want to use.
Thanks so much, Michael, for that wonderful information. If you want some help from one of the pros too, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow that Ask the Pro link, and submit your question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today at Port Aransas, I used a 2-prong approach to catch my fish. You know, I started out the day using the old trusty gold spoon, and as you notice, there's a leader on here. You know, this is a 20-pound Strike King Contra fluorocarbon leader, and you know, it's really important to put that leader on there. You know, the water's gin clear around here. I'm throwing a 30-pound braid, and this is the rod I was talking about earlier. This is a 6'9" heavy action skipping rod. This is a bass fishing rod. This is a skipping rod to skip jigs under docks. But I've found that this is probably one of the best rods that I've ever found. It's the new Team Lose Signature Series, and it's a 6'9". You know, that shorter rod, it really helps me get really long cast, and it has that backbone that I can move really large redfish. A 7:5-to-1 gear ratio Team Loose Custom Light rounds that out. But you know, the home run hitter today, the one that we adjusted whenever the fishing got way tougher, was actually going to a soft plastic jerkbait. This actually has a gold bottom with a chartreuse tail. And the big key to this was actually the 16th ounce jig head. You know, a lot of people around here fish 1/8 ounce, 3/16 quarters, and so on. I go to the 16th because it forces me to fish a lot slower. And I think more so than the plastic color or even the plastic type, having that lighter weight is really, really key. Guys, I hope you learned how to find and catch them here at Port Aransas. I hope that the next time you come down here, you load the boat just like I did today. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.